Here in this video we discuss about Unix programming, process control, in that how interpreter files are executed, what is system function, and also what is called process accounting, and a similar type of informations we are discussed in this video. Here we are discuss about interpreter files. Files which begin with a line of the form. For example, hash estimate symbol path name, optional argument you are type within the square brackets. Most common example is hash estimate symbol /bin/bash. As the path name, you have set the corresponding optional arguments. Actual file executed by kernel is one of the specified file, one of the specified information. For example, the interpreter file hash estimate symbol /bin/awk-f start with the compound statement begin and open the bracket using the for loop I is equal to 0, I is less than argv, I plus plus, nothing but want to go for using printf function to print the arguments with the string of the values. Okay, the argument number and the corresponding string is supposed to go for printed. Then till the end of the argument C control is there, they want to go print that. After that, completion of all the values should be printed, then you commit out exist. For example, you consider here, this is the user commands echo hello world date and ls is the path name. You go for setting for arguments, then you try to go for print the values. First is the print the value argv is, this is the comments. Second one echo hello world, third one particular date, the last one is ls, till that print the phone number. After that it quit out of the corresponding loop. For that we can use the function predefined exist function. Uses of interpreter files, they hide the fact that certain programs or scripts in some other languages. They provide an efficiency again. They help us write shell script using shells other than /bin/sh. Here we are discuss about system function. It helps us execute a command string within a program. System is implemented by calling the fork, nothing but create a new process, comma, exe, nothing but execute in the between, and wait PID with the corresponding functions. The syntax is hash include stblib.h, that file included, and then int system constant character cmd string, nothing but the system function returns integer type value, and then return the value of a corresponding system. It is -1 if either fork fails or wait period returns an error, then enters. Here we discuss about some examples of system function. System date greater than symbol with a file, system ls-l, system cat foo, system my foo chop, semicolon calendar. Like that we can call the system functions with the different types of the operations. First one is date, the corresponding file in which date the file is typed and executed. Then system.ls-l, that possible to go for print the particular system files are printed with all type of permissions, the links, user, owner, then the date and time of the function, last date and time of function executes, and the corresponding file is printed. Then cat foo is there, what content is there in the foo that possible to go for printed. Like that you want to go for print the values with the calendar. My foo chop is there, that should be printed with corresponding calendar dates. For that we are using some examples using system functions using with the predefined function system. This is a very simple example of how to use system function in programming. For that we are included the header file system.wait.h and system.error.h to print the error number, to wait for how many times. Then as include Unix standard.h header file and call the system file with the help of constant character with address of command string, what you are consider. The parameters we are using in this program is the print the process ID, PID, then int of status, what is status of the corresponding the program or functions that is consider. Here if a command string is equal to null, what command string you consider that is equal to null, then returns 1. Nothing but always a command processor with the Unix that possible to go for print it. If PID is equal to 4 less than 0, what is PID that generated, that depends on the process of the corresponding function that is less than or equal to less than 0, then the status is -1, nothing but probably out of the processor work. Else if PID is equal to 0, then it call execute a xlcex function with the corresponding bin slash with the corresponding sh function with underscore key, corresponding command string supposed to be printed with corresponding character 0. Then it calls exist function of 127, nothing but it is an error. Else you can call the parent process while wait PID is there, call the wait PID function with the process ID of corresponding function until that is condition is less than 0. You want to go for possible to go for check and verify the following statements. Okay, if error number is not equal to entered, then status is equal to -1, that indicate that errors other than the enter from wait PID function that possible to go for print. Finally want to go for quit the corresponding execution of the program. You are supposed to go for use the break statement, the quit out of the corresponding program. Here this is the main program. Then that possible to go for print integer type of status. If status equal to system date is less than 0, then nothing is there, that is system error. Automatically call the system error information, then you call predefined exist function with status if it is less than 0. If status equal to system with no such commands is less than 0, then also it generates an error, system error. Then also you come call pre-exist status. If status is equal to system who exist 44 less than 0, error system is equal to error, otherwise print the corresponding status and exist. For try to save and execute this program, finally want to go for use the command run command of /a.out. Then want to go for type a date command sun March 27 with the time estimated with corresponding dates printed. Then it supposed to print the corresponding date and then normal termination with exist status of 0 for corresponding date. Next want to go for try to work it out with the status should be checked, nothing should be printed. Then whatever status is there, that's supposed to go for print command not found the information, that's called no such command were entered. It is normal termination should be called with the exit status of 127. Nothing but 127 indicate it is a error status. Nothing but no such command you are go for typing it. Otherwise you go for start working with the help of corresponding all the formats with a where you can use the function with corresponding path we can set and then print the values. Working with the help of all the values should be considered to go for print it. Finally, the normal termination should be done. Once again, call exit status of the 44. Nothing but it should be called once again error function. Exit status of 44 is there. Nothing but it less than 0. Then you call the error function pre-exist function for exit of the program. Process accounting. Here kernel writes an accounting record each time a process terminates. Nothing but when the process initiating it, when it terminates, whole thing should be recorded. That's called accounting record in process accounting. That should be done through the help of a kernel. These accounting records are typically a small amount of binary data with the name of the command, the amount of CPU time used, the user ID and group ID and starting time and so on. Nothing but the syntax of corresponding process accounting, that is consider it's a data bytes in the binary form, and you want to go for type the name of a command you are using it, how much amount is required for a processor to execute that command, and what is the user ID of that command, the group ID of the corresponding the process, and what is the initiation of time, what is the end of time, and so on. Whole things will be recorded. A super user executes action with a path name argument to enable accounting. Accounting records are written to the specified file, which is usually /var/account/acct. According to accounting is turned off by executing account return account without any arguments. The data required for accounting record, such as CPU time and number of characters transferred, is kept by the kernel in the process table and initialized whenever a new process is created, as in the child after a fork, but create a new process. Each accounting record is written when the process terminates. After ending of each process is completed, execution is completed, abnormal termination, whatever it may be, the process execution terminates, then automatically accounting record return the corresponding status of the process. This means that the order of record in the accounting file corresponding to the termination order of the process, not the order in which they were started. The accounting record corresponding to processes, not programs, because each process or subpart of the program may be considered sometimes. Call the function, okay, like that we can consider. A new record is initiated by kernel for a child after fork, not when a new program is executed. Each and every sub process supposed to consider each and every sub execution of the sub process or child processes after the fork is called. Then after complete should not be called the whole program. Want to go for try to execute complete program, and then maintain. After termination you want to go for maintain accounting of that process. It's called process accounting. You want to perform status of the accounting or accounting records. one structure we are using it. Structure name is called ACCT, because that possible to go for maintain the records in the header files of sys acc.h header file, and look something like to go for any type of the value should be considered is a 3-bit base of 8 exponent. 13-bit fractions are considered with the type definition of u short compt. Then the structure ACCT name that contains different parameters. One is character AC flag that indicate number of flags we are using it. CHAR AC stat is there nothing but termination status of a specific signal and core flags only you consider, not only available in Solaris software or Solaris softwares. Then UID with the team, nothing but account UID, nothing but real user ID is supposed to go identified. Second one is GID with the T with the AC GID, nothing but real group ID should be considered. ACTTY, nothing but in which of the terminal the process is going on or controlling of the corresponding terminal should be considered in ACTTY variable. Then ACB time, nothing but starting calendar time when the specific process is started by initiating with accounting. Then account ACCTUTID, nothing but user CPU time, nothing but clock ticks, how much time is required to execution of that one used by the processor, nothing but CPU. ACCST, nothing but first one is user, this one is system CPU time, that's also considered with the help of the clock ticks. Then account ETIM is then elapsed time, nothing but how much time is taken for execution of corresponding process. Then AC mem is there, how the memory is supposed to go for using it, that is considered to average, get the average memory, for that you are using AC MEM. Then one more variable AC IO is there, nothing but bytes transferred, nothing but by read or write in any type of operation, either read operation or write operation. You are consider the specific block of blocks you are using in B8 systems. Then you are using AC with or blocked read or write numbers, nothing but present available in BSD. ACCOMM, nothing but command name is there for Solaris systems. When you go for using 8, then you will go for using 10 for Mac OS, 16 for the 2 for FreeBSD, and 17 for Linux operating system. Here we discuss some of the accounting flags using in the process. Values of accounting flags are considered AC underscore flag from accounting record. The flags are considered a fork, nothing but process is the result of fork but never called exist function. ASU is the another flag, process used super user privileges. ACOM pat, process user compatibility mode. Okay, that is COM pat, compat. Then a core is there, process dumped core is there where you can using that. AXSIG, nothing but process was killed by a signal. AEXPND, expanded accounting entry. Like that we can use different types of flags for execution of in the process accounting concept. These are all the flags we are using it. Here is the one of the program. If PID is equal to 4 less than 0, then it generates fork error, not possible to create the child process. Else you want to go for print PID is not equal to 0, then you can call the parents and you are wait for 2 milliseconds of sleep. Then exist 2 should be called, consider nothing but terminate with exist status of 2. If PID is equal to 4 less than 0, then generate an error, fork error, not possible to go for creating. Otherwise, PID is not equal to 0, then once again you go for sleep for 4 milliseconds. Then your abort should be nothing but abnormal terminal should be considered to dump the corresponding process. Otherwise, you can call some second. This is for the first child process, not perform. Next, we move towards second child process. If PID is equal to fork less than 0, once again generate the fork error. Else PID is not equal to 0, then you want to go for then you want to set the path with /bin/dd. Then it should not be, the content should be getting here. Then you can call exist function for that. Then you can call one more child ID, third child. If PID is equal to fork, once again generate not polycreated fork, and once again go to sleep. Then normal exist function should be called. Then you called the fourth function, fourth child function, and you want to go for try to work it out with should not get the corresponding information for execution of this program. Here when the parent process is called, then you want to waiting for the child process. For that, parent process has to wait for some some time. That's called sleep function. Otherwise it's called exist function. Then you create a new process called fork function. Then you move towards the first child process, how the first child process is working. In between that, you want to go for called sleep method. If it is not possible to execute, you can call abort function to go for quit of the corresponding first child. Then once again call to create a new process, then called the fork function. Then creation of a second child work should be considered. Then you call the execution of corresponding one with the corresponding path set with a /bin of informations. If we that complete, then you called one more child process using with the fork function. You wait for some time, then you can call execution of third function is completed. Then called fourth child, then wait for some time. Otherwise, you can call the kill function to go terminate the corresponding operation or corresponding process supposed to be killed by the predefined function kill. We discuss about user identification. For that, we can call get login function with the character type and with the corresponding address. This function returns pointer to string, giving login name if it is okay, otherwise null if it generates an error type. Here process times are there. There are three different types of process times we are using. We can measure it also. One is wall clock time, second is user CPU time, third one is system CPU time. Any process can call the times functions to obtain these values for itself and any terminated children. For that, we can call the function called times that contain the structure variable with the BEF with the corresponding pointer or reference. Here this function returns elapsed wall clock time in the clock ticks if it is okay, otherwise generates an error with any of the constant values. The structure includes the structure TMS that includes U time, nothing but TMS U time, nothing but user CPU time, TMS S time, nothing but system CPU time, TMS CU time, nothing but user CPU time and terminated children, TMS CS time, nothing but system CPU time and terminated children time. Like that, we can consider 4 different types of parameters supposed to use in the structure with the corresponding process times.